But, like, no, I don't want to see Mitch Trubisky in a football game on a Thursday night. I know he has these backup commercials that he has to film, but I didn't want to see Mitch Trubisky. So I was glad that Josh Allen came back in, but it did feel like the offense was just never – it wasn't the same after he got sacked that way by Will Anderson. And that's like vintage Will Anderson, by the way. I mean, that guy is fast. He can move. The way that he chased him down, there's not a lot of guys that I feel like are chasing down Josh Allen. But the way that Will Anderson did, that guy is going to be a problem in the AFC, their South. Yeah, the AFC South for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. This defense, man. Like, the Texans only sit at 6-5, but, like, this is one of the best defenses in the NFL. And one of the best under teams in the NFL for that reason, because you can't always trust the offense to really get it going, but sometimes it doesn't actually matter. And here's the thing now is that the Texans are starting to win some of these close games like we saw last night. Let's go over our bets quickly because it wasn't a super fun night for us. So I banked on the fact that the Bills have been terrible against the run. And I said to myself, okay, Woody Marks was bad against the Titans. Give Nick Chubb some carries. So he did get some carries. He went over his carries prop, which you did have, which was 5.5, a very low number. But the yardage prop was 20.5. I think he finished with 16. Just need one more carry. Just one more carry, Nick Chubb. And then Josh Allen, I think, would have gotten his rush yards if he wasn't running backwards and being, wasn't running for his life in some of these plays. And, like, I've gotten burned on that, like, with Patrick Mahomes, sometimes where, like, he's running the ball. It's just most of the time it's not forward. So 33.5 was a high number. That was an L for me. So 2 L's on the night for me. Good, great, grand.
I mean, I wasn't much better. I got the carries prop with Nick Chubb, but I was with you on the yardage that he did not hit. And I used a bonus bet for a Josh Allen 2+ touchdowns in a game where the Bills did not score nearly enough touchdowns to make that a reality. So that's just one of those things. I was so bummed, too, because Nick Chubb, it was like his first carry. He goes for 7 yards. I'm like, oh, in the back. His first quarter. First of all, they're already giving him carries in the first quarter, like early in the first quarter. I was like, all right, this is a wrap it up. Let me start making dinner, ordering dinner because I got no money in my pocket. And then he averaged 2.7 yards a carry. And it's like, ugh. It started so well, and then it just tanked.
Yeah, I feel that. That's the worst with rushing props is that they can go backwards. Like, you think you're doing well, and then they have run for negative yards. You're like, wait. So
okay,
that takes away the yardage total that we already have. Oh, it was not fun to watch. But here's the thing. The game itself was a fun watch. Maybe not for Bills fans because this one went absolutely down to the wire as the Texans take down the Bills 23-19. Buffalo does not cover. Obviously, they lose outright. Total of 43.5. That would have been a nail biter, but the under does hit in this one. So Josh Allen, we know he can certainly do a lot, but he was limited in this game by this great defensive line of the Houston Texans and a great secondary. I should add that as well because that is part of the picture as well. But I think it's jarring when you see somebody who is so tough to take down like Josh Allen get sacked this many times. And it's just a testament to this Texans defense and just how good, they've been. And on paper, wasn't a great night for Josh Allen either. I know he was playing through some injuries. It did look like he injured his shoulder a little bit, but being sacked 8 times and 2 interceptions to no touchdowns is certainly not going to help the MVP case.
No, it's not. We had, kicked that idea around a little bit yesterday. Like, if he goes crazy Thursday night, primetime game, that would certainly help. And we know what he is capable of. He had 6 touchdowns the last time he played. This was a very different version of Josh Allen. And this is the version of Josh Allen that I think Bills fans are like, hey, we don't really want to see this version anymore. Like, we thought we left this way in the past. So the fact that we're seeing this variation of Josh Allen in November is not exactly a good thing, but it does speak more to their roster building issues. And they don't have wide receivers. And it was very apparent last night when you're without your main tight end in Dalton Kincaid, and for the second week in a row, you decide to willingly scratch Keon Coleman. Josh Allen does not have enough bodies to throw to that can get separation against a great defense. At least in years prior, when Stephon Diggs was there, you would take Stephon Diggs against just about anybody in the secondary. So even if it was like a Derek Stingley, who's a great player, you'd like your chances with Stephon Diggs. You don't like your chances that much when it's the guys that he's throwing to. I know Khalil Shakir had a good performance, 8 catches, 110 yards, but it's not the level of explosiveness that you're going to need once you start to play good defenses. And if you look in the AFC, there's a bunch of teams that have really good defenses and really good guys on the outside, especially now that Indianapolis went and got Sauce Gardner. So they need to evaluate this situation with Keon Coleman a little bit to be like, hey, what is the deal here? Are we going to keep willingly scratching him? Can whatever the situation is, him being late, whatever the discipline is, can we make sure that this discipline is taken care of to a way that satisfies the organization by the time we get to December? Because you can't keep healthy scratching a good wideout.
Right. Just do the CeeDee Lamb thing. We're like, you know what? He was at the casino. It's fine. And I thought the funniest part of that story was listen here. I wasn't puking. I can hold my liquor. We'll talk about that story later. But my point being is that, okay, you hold him out for a series because at the end of the day, you're punishing Josh Allen as well because he needs guys to throw the ball to. But I do think you do need to give some credit to the Texans defense because we've seen him do it all season long. And I do think when you have a great pass rush and a great defensive scheme, you can make even the best quarterbacks in the NFL look mortal. We've seen this with Patrick Mahomes when he doesn't have a good offensive line and when there's a ferocious defensive line on the other side. Patrick Mahomes scrambles around and he doesn't look like a good quarterback. So I do think it's a little of both, but the Bills, we knew they were injured going into this one. I will say this, their defense was actually pretty solid. I know giving up 23 points to the Texans does not look solid, but it feels like the Bills defense is finally healthy, but then the offense doesn't show up. So it's just one of those things where the Bills just feel like a team that is not very consistent this year.
And I think also if you look at it on the other side with Houston, one, they put themselves in a really good position that I think puts a lot of pressure this weekend on Kansas City. Kansas City drops to 5-6. Houston's now 6-5. Houston, when they were tied because of conference record, had the tiebreaker over Kansas City. So it puts a lot of pressure on the Kansas City Chiefs. We're also seeing the birth of a superstar in Will Anderson. And if you followed him in college, you knew that he was going to be good in the NFL. He has 10.5 sacks on the season, Chelsa. He's gone 6 games in a row with a sack. And he had 2.5 last night. He was unblockable. And it's very, very rare that we see this level of production this quickly for a guy that's as young as Will Anderson, right? This is only year 3. He was drafted the same year as C.J. Stroud. This is only year 3, and he already has 10.5 sacks. It feels like he's on pace to get to 14, 15. And when you start getting to the teens in the sack department, that's a legit game wrecker. And he's becoming a legit game wrecker. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, this defense in general, it has pieces all over the field because it's not just him. It's on the secondary with Derek Stingley Jr., who is an all-pro. But you look at this game and you look at the Texans, and I think, it's funny that you said that I think we're witnessing the birth of a superstar. I thought you were going to say Davis Mills. Because here's the thing, Davis Mills has been pretty good. I'm not going to say the birth of a superstar. But, I was wondering where you were going to go with that one because here's the thing. I think, again, a lot of people looked at this game and said, Josh Allen versus Davis Mills. Why would you ever choose the team with Davis Mills? And Davis Mills, didn't put up numbers that rival, the birth of a superstar. But he was good enough to win a game with a team that has a very good defense. He only threw for 153 yards, but he did have the 2 touchdowns and no picks. So he's driving the car just fine.
He's doing well. He's doing really well for a backup. Obviously they still want C.J. Stroud. I don't think anyone is man, is there going to be an open quarterback competition? There's not. There's not going to be that at all. But he's done enough. And, these short week games are always incredibly challenging, even if you are just a regular time starter, as evident by the fact that Josh Allen did not play well on the other side, and he's a superstar. So the fact that Davis Mills was able to keep the ball largely out of harm's way, have 2 touchdowns, move the football, and then put them in a position late in the game to win was impressive. So he definitely gets maybe some poetry snaps for that one, but the superstar title is reserved right now for Will Anderson.
I thought you were going to give us some monologue on Davis Mills. I was sat and ready to listen.
I thought about that last night, but then I was like, I'm trying to be a better person because I couldn't do a monologue about Davis Mills without making fun of his abnormally large neck. And I didn't want to come on here and make fun of the giraffe. So I was just like, I'm not gonna do the monologue bit.
I feel like that would help quarterbacks though. See over the line of scrimmage. So maybe it's one of those flaws that's actually helpful. Right? I mean, somewhere I'm sure Kyler Murray wishes he had a neck that long to see over the line of scrimmage. One thing before we go to break, it was surprising to me that they got away, that the Bills went away from James Cook running the ball. Because he was averaging 6.8 yards per carry. There was a juncture in this game where you're like, what are we doing? You're running the ball effectively. Why not give it to James Cook?
Including the breakaway touchdown. That was brilliant. They just needed short yardage. He makes a jump cut, and then he is gone. I was actually kind of upset because I still was, at that point, riding my Josh Allen 2+ touchdowns. So I was like, somebody chase him down. Somebody chase him down. Josh Allen will take that touchdown away at the goal line.